Yeah, I'm ready when you
We are live. Hello, hello, hello. It's time for ChubbyRay Comics Roundtable. I am Ray, and with me, my guest, everyone.
are.
Very happy for my guest today. It is the Omnibus God. How you doing, buddy? It's good to see you.
Good to see you, man. Thanks so much for having me on. Hello, everybody. I don't have any. I can't see any. I'm just on the thing. Maybe I'll pull up the chat later. But
I'll pull some comments up in a little bit. We'll be able
yeah,
to read them on screen.
yeah. But yeah, it's great to be here. I told you this a while ago, but I was like, we need to get on and do something together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I gotta say, you were one of the first guys that I really got when I first got on uh going to comic content creators. I started on going to TikTok first.
mhm.
You were one of the first guys I saw, and I instantly loved your content because it was all about omnibuses, and I loved omnibuses. I just started collecting omnibuses and collected editions in 2024. That's when I started this,
Mhm.
and you were one of the first guys I watched, and I ended up connecting with you on TikTok, and you were one of the first people that I ever came into contact with, and I thought your content was just so interesting because you always wore a beanie,
Yeah.
and you always acted like you just, how do I explain? You were so. I just, your image was, I just happened to be here. I just happened to be in this room filled with omnibuses, and I
Yeah.
just happened to be talking about them. And I liked your presentation was always so good. So that's how I instantly became a fan of yours.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I'm glad you're one of my first guests that I've gotten on Roundtable. I'm very glad to have you here. And let me start by saying, before I start the interview, let me say, thank you for including me in the documentary. I was really impressed with your documentary. I thought it was very well done, man.
Thank you, brother. It was great having you on. You were a lot of people were saying, like a lot of my mutuals and even like real life friends uh, that watched it. They said that your story and your part of the interview was really good. They loved hearing you talk about your stuff. So it was great having you on there. Thank you for doing that again.
I just, for that, I talked about this on one of my live streams, so people
Mhm.
know it. But you actually recorded that stuff with me months and months and months
Yeah.
before any. You did it when I only had like 150 subscribers. I was just getting started,
Mhm.
and you asked me to be on it. And I go, what do you want me for? I got to hand it to you. You told me, you said, no, by the time it comes out, you'll be big. And
Yeah.
I thought, this guy's crazy. But
I called
sure
it.
enough, man, I don't know how you knew, but you knew by the time it came out, I was monetized and had a bunch of subscribers. And so 100%, man, you hit it right on the head. So I don't know what your secret was for figuring that out, but you were absolutely correct.
Yeah, I saw it in you, man. I mean, when I can't remember what our first interaction was. I mean, I think you commented on one of my videos.
Yeah, it was one of the TikTok videos.
Yeah, and so like anything, I checked you out because you had the name comics in your thing, and you had your logo for your profile picture. So I checked you out, and I was like, oh wait, he makes content, and uh he's got a nice collection. I started watching your stuff, and we were talking about this off stream right before we started, but you've been working your ass off, dude. Oh, sorry, maybe I shouldn't cuss.
Oh,
You've
go
been
ahead.
working, you've been working your butt off, and and you're just consistent. I love you as a person. You're such a kind-hearted guy,
Oh, thank
and
you, man.
just the conversations you and I have had. Not always, relating to content or whatever. Even the
Yeah.
small talk. I know it's not a lot, but you just know when someone has a good heart, and I think you've got a good heart, brother.
Well,
So,
I thank you for that. Let's find out about you.
all right.
Let me hear Omnibus Gods comics origin story. How
Okay.
did you how did you first get into comics? How old were you? Who bought you the first book? When did you first discover you had a love for this great medium?
Yeah. So, I mean, as long as I can remember, I was into superheroes. I was born in '98, so I grew up in like that 2000s era, right? Where like all the like the Spider-Man movie was out, the Sam Raimi one, Fantastic Four was coming out, like, and the X-Men movies were coming out. So, my mom just kind of was like, "Oh, you're a boy. Here's superhero stuff." So I remember my earliest like memories of things were like when I was like 3 years old. I kid you not. 3 years old, I had these two Spider-Man toys, Spider-Man and the Green Goblin from the movie. I remember the animated X-Men show and the animated Spider-Man show, the reruns that they would play. And then my uncle was a DVD bootlegger, and and so when I was, what was I? I was like 4 years old. I watched Spider-Man for the first time, the Sam Raimi movie with Tobey Maguire. I watched it on a bootleg DVD that my uncle gave me, and I loved it. So I fell in love with Spider-Man, and I just was, immersed in all the superhero stuff. I lived in California. I was born in California. We moved to Minnesota, my mom and I, and that's where we met my stepfather. He's the man who raised me, the man who I look at as my real father. And he had two sons as well. So I have two stepbrothers. Again, they're just like my real brothers, but they were significantly older than me. They were like 10 plus years older than me. And my oldest brother, Peter, he was 19 when I was 6 years old.
Oh wow!
And he
that's a big difference.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a big difference. And funny enough, this is just really quick. We have the same birthday, but we're stepbrothers. So we always thought that was cool when we met, that we shared a birthday. And so, yeah, he was the one that really got me into comics. So I was into superheroes, obviously. And he had comic books, and I had never seen a comic book before. And so I would always look at his comic books, and he's like, "Hey man, like, you need to stop touching my comic books." So let's go get you some comic books. So my brother, when I was 6 years old, took me to the comic book shop for the first time. And that was the first time at 6 years old I went into a comic book shop, and I just, for the first time, saw where these characters that I loved so much originally came from. And my first comic book ever, I talked about this on the documentary, was the Avengers Initiative issue 1. I can't remember who wrote it, but
great era. That was a great era.
Yeah,
great
like
era.
2000. That was like Bendis, like 2005, 2006.
That was that new event, early aughts, when Bendis came in with the new Avengers, and it all led to Civil War and Secret Invasion and the Dark Reign era, and all that stuff was my God, that was the greatest time ever.
Yeah,
Marvel Comics, in my opinion.
I was just drawn to it because it had that cover. If you know it, it's just a bunch of Avengers, a bunch of characters with Iron Man in the front with his hands crossed. And that was my first comic book ever. And that was like my first, time reading a comic book, flipping through the pages. And then I got hooked. My brother would take me to the comic book shop. Then I started going by myself. I got really into Jeff Johns' Green Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
Blackest Night was happening at the time. So I was collecting those on my own.
So Green Lantern was your first DC hero.
Green Lantern was my first. Like I would get back issues because I was a kid, and I didn't have, my parents didn't have that much money, so like I would go to the comic shop like every now and then, but even so, I had to get cheap stuff, and so I would pull like 50-cent books and dollar books. So I think technically my first DC book was like some, like I think I still have it. It's like I remember a Justice Society comic or something.
Oh, I love Justice.
Yeah, but it was like the old. It was like actually like a Silver Age comic or something. It was a back issue. But then I started pulling Blackest Night. I really loved that event. And I used to collect. I also talked about this in the documentary, the DC Showcase and the Marvel Essentials.
Mm-hmm.
Those are. I know they don't make those anymore, but for the kids nowadays. To explain it to you guys, these were like these paperbacks, almost phone book style books that had like kind of really thin paper, black and white, no color, and they sold for like $16 back in the day. So my parents would give me $20 like every other month, and you could go to the comic book shop and you could either get 6 single issues back in the day for $20, or you could get a DC Showcase Marvel Essential. And the first one I bought was the Spider-Man one. And it was the first 20 issues of Spider-Man with Amazing Fantasy 15. So that's how I fell in love, like with like actually falling in love with Spider-Man, where I was like, oh, I love this stuff. So I loved the Steve Ditko and Stan Lee stuff right away because I read it in those paperbacks. And yeah, and I've been in
The
love
black
with
and white
black and
Marvel
white.
Essential paperbacks.
Yeah, black and white. I was a kid reading those. Luckily, I wasn't the kid that would color stuff in. I'm glad I never did that. But I still loved it. I thought the art still looked fun. I loved Spider-Man as a character. I loved all the villains that he fought. And I read that book back to front or front to back so many times that like that one ripped. I had to buy a second one, and yeah, then that's just how I really got into
Does
comics.
Peter, your stepbrother, know? Is he still into comics?
He not really. He kind of fell off of comics, like kind of like in his mid-20s. And
he know? Does he know that you have what you've done with what he created?
He's a really supportive brother. Awesome. He watches all my videos.
That's great.
He comments every now and then, and he always texts me after I post a video, and he'll be like, "Hey, I'm really proud of you, little brother." And sometimes I'll shoot him a text, and I'll just be like, "Hey, thanks so much. It's all because of you." So yeah, he knows. He takes credit for it, and he's really proud of what I've done with it because he started it all. It's all thanks to him, really.
I think it's cool. That's a cool story. My brothers come over to my house. Mm-hmm. They find an excuse to come to my room. They steal something, and then I never see it again. I'm still missing Batman, Lonely Place of Dying.
Oh wow!
I'm missing Under the Red Hood.
Oh no!
I'm missing Batman. Hush. These are all paperbacks that my brother who's a truck driver came over for Christmas.
My brother's a truck driver too.
Stole the books and left.
That's funny.
Don't get me. I'm still triple dipping the books, even without those. With those missing, I'm still triple dipping. But still, he's never returned it, and he's never acknowledged it.
Yeah.
But I have. There's none of my family is into it. So at least you got someone who understands what the heck's going on. Yeah. When did you transition from? When did you decide? Okay, I'm into collected editions. Mm-hmm. It sounds like the essentials and showcase stuff made you at least get into it. But when did you actually decide? You know what? Single comics are not enough for me. And did you collect single covers and get the long boxes and all that stuff?
No, when I was a kid, I would just get comics and I would have them on my desk. I would just stack them in a pile.
So you never got the boxes and put them in the plastic and the boards and
no, not till way later. I collected. So from 6 years old, I started buying comics. 8 years old is when I would like really got serious, where like I would actually save up my money and then I would try to go out and get weekly releases or at least, my monthly polls and stuff like that. And the first full series that I ever pulled was Brightest Day when that was coming out by Tomasi and Reyes. And that's the first one where I was like, okay, I've got issue 0, 1, 2, and I like monthly I would go collect it, and then I got up to issue 24. And then after that, I just really got into Green Lantern, and I told myself that like, okay, maybe Green Lantern's my guy. And I started collecting all the post Brightest Day Green Lantern stuff going into New 52. And then I got into high school and I just stopped. I mean, you get into high school and you're just kind of like, oh, that's kids stuff or whatever. And then around that time, so around 14 years old, I stopped collecting singles and I stopped going to the comic book shop because I just wasn't really into it or whatever. And then when I got back into comics, like when I graduated, 18 years old, 19 years old, I got back into comics. That's when I was like, oh, I should sleeve these up and stuff like. Now I don't care because now I don't collect single issues. But yeah.
You all right, so you get out of high school. Did you go to college? I don't know if you.
No, I didn't go. I worked straight after college, right, so after school. After high school, went
straight into a career after high school.
Yeah, I was in retail, and I just started. I didn't want to go to college. I've never been sold on
Well, I'm
college.
saying that you were making money though, so you
Yeah, I
had
was making money. So then
money, and
that's
you're like, okay, I'm gonna spend my money on
yeah,
something I love.
exactly.
You would get your comics. You'd have a pool list. You get your comics.
Well, when I came back to comics, I started collecting like trade paperbacks.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. When did you get into collected edition? So it was when you came back after when you were out of high school.
Yep.
That's when you decide let me get the trade paperback of Green Lantern or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, literally, I remember I was really big into Barnes and Noble because my fiance, who I've been with for 9 years now, we got together right after high school. She's a bookworm. She's really into novels and stuff like that, and her romance stuff. So she was big into going to Barnes and Noble, and Barnes and Noble has a pretty good selection of comic books, like with collected editions and graphic novels. So I was like, you know what, I should get back into this, and I started collecting the New 52 stuff. I was catching up on New 52, so I got the trade paperbacks because they were always there. So I got the New 52 Justice League trade paperbacks.
Oh, so good.
I got Batman by Snyder, or I got Snyder, yeah, Snyder's Batman. And then I was like, you know what? Should I get Green Lantern? Because I have all those singles. And I was like trying to line it up. And I was like, okay, I have issue 20. This paperback has issue 21 through whatever. Should I just collect this? And my fiance was like, just collect all trade paperback. Why not? So you could have the collection all there. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then I went on a huge like trade buying thing where like I just bought like anytime we would go to Barnes and Noble, I would walk out with like a stack of trade paperbacks.
Yeah, why not? That's how you do it.
Yeah, and I just had like a shelf full of trades, just random stuff, mainly the New 52 and like current stuff that was happening.
So when did the transition happen? Here we go, everybody. Everybody listen up. Here we're getting to the big stuff. When did you go from trade paperbacks to discover the glory of omnibuses?
So I would say it was, so if I got back into comics at 18, I started collecting trade paperbacks kind of 19 years old. I got into omnis at 20 years old. So about a year into getting back into comics and getting trade paperbacks, I wanted, I talked about the Marvel Essentials, right? I wanted to read the Stanley and Steve Ditko stuff because I hadn't read it since I was a kid. And at this point, stuff like Homecoming was out, the MCU was big, and so Spider-Man was in the MCU. So I was like, oh, I need to get back into the character. And I remember I read Ultimate Spider-Man in trade paperback. I read the JMS stuff from singles when I was a kid. And I was like, I need to get back into Spider-Man for the comics. And so I tried looking up. This is so funny, but I promise it's true. I tried looking up the Spider-Man Essentials trade paperback, right? Because like I said, I destroyed the two that I had back in the day. And I tried looking it up, and I found this listing on Etsy for a Spider-Man omnibus. And I go, what's an omnibus? Is that it? And so I looked at it, and the person had these pictures, and I was like, well, that looks like the Essentials. It looks like it's a hardcover. And I was like, oh, and it collects. I was like, I wonder if this is just the new version of the Essentials.
So did you even know it was color?
No, I didn't know it was color.
This would have been great. Okay.
So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, you know what? And this is where I'm like, I feel like I promise this is true. This person was selling it on Etsy for $150. This is 2019, and I think Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1 had just gone out of print. So they were selling it for $150. And I was like, yeah, you know what? It's probably worth that much because it's that rare. I really want to read these stories. I'll buy it. I ordered it, and I was expecting to get this like small paperback essential book, or like maybe
black and white
and all this stuff. And then when I got it, the box was instantly heavy, and I was like, what the fuck? And I open it, and it's this massive hardcover, and I'm like, what?
with great paper, and it's all. It would have been magical.
I took it out and I was like, oh my God. And I didn't even know it collected more issues because the Essentials, the paperback that I had when I was a kid, only collected the first 20 issues of Spider-Man. So you got Amazing Fantasy 15, and then you got 2 Amazing Spider-Man 19. I got this omnibus. It collects the whole Stanley Steve Ditko run, which is like 40 issues. And it's in color. And it's hardcover and it's bigger. And I was like, what is this? So then I instantly went online. I looked up omnibus, and then I found the Uncanny Omar.
Yeah.
I found
here's the Omar. It's always Omar.
Yeah,
they always end up with Omar. And because everybody watches near-mint conditions content.
And so I learned what it was, and I was like, okay, well, I guess I have this. And my I told my fiance who was just my girlfriend at the time, and she was like, well, I'm glad that it's more than just a little paperback, because if you spent $150 on a paperback, that would have been crazy. And I'm like, yeah, well, I feel better now. I spent $150 on this nice hardcover. And then I learned about omnis, and then I found out about the websites like Cheap Graphic Novels. This was before Panel Bound or formerly Organic Price Books. So I found out about Cheap Graphic Novels. And I was like, oh, wait, you don't have to pay full price for these books? And I made an order. I remember my first order on Cheap Graphic Novels, which was just in general my first omnibus order, was for the Batman Grant Morrison omnis. And, those omnis are already kind of cheap. They're like 75 bucks.
They're not as thick, yeah.
So back then, you could get them on Cheap Graphic Novels for like 40 bucks. And so when I got them, and I was like, I was skeptical. I told my fiance, I was like, I wonder if I'm going to get scammed or something. And I got those 2 volumes for 80 bucks together, and I got them, and I was looking at them, and I'm like, you think it's fake? And she's like, how could you fake a book? And I'm like, I don't know. And yeah. And then, obviously I learned and I did my research, and then boom, the collection blew up. And
so you started with Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Yep.
And some Batman. When did you decide, okay, I've got to have volume 1, 2, 3, 4? When did you start buying all the different Spider-Man stuff?
Dude, like right away. So I got volume 1, which, again, I spent a pretty penny on, but man, this is something that I am so grateful for. I came into the omnibus hobby at the perfect time.
Yep.
Like literally the perfect time. I feel bad for the kids nowadays and the old heads back then, the OG collectors, because when I started collecting, it was like the reprint era. Marvel started reprinting and making new volumes. So I get volume 1 of Spider-Man. Not too much long later, Omar announces that volume 2 is getting a reprint. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to pre-order that right away. Boom, I pre-ordered that right away. Wolverine gets reprinted. Boom, I buy that. Because these omnis back then were selling for like $500, $600.
But if you get them when they're new, they're, $80.
Exactly. And so this was back then, I will say this. I mean, much like anything in the world right now, especially America, prices have gone up. So back then, you could get an omnibus for like $60, and that was
a gallon of gas back then for under $2.
Exactly, right? But so I got Spider-Man Volume 2 when that got reprinted. Wolverine was announced, and I was like, okay, I want to check that stuff out. All the X-Men stuff was getting reprinted, so I got Uncanny 1, 2, Volume 3 of Spider-Man got reprinted, 4, and then they announced 5. They announced Wolverine Volume 2. They announced the Peter David Hulk. For that was a brand new Omni at the time, and I just was going off of what Omar was recommending on Near Mint, because he's a great salesman. I feel like sometimes
Omar should work for one of those companies. I mean, he has driven more people to buy these books.
100%. He's even I don't know if I've ever told him this, but he's even driven me to buy some bad books. but that's how
Really?
good he is. But yeah, like, I would just watch near mint condition and I'd be like, okay, there's a lot of hype, because I'd also read the comments and it would be people like, oh my
Mhm.
God, I've been waiting years for this. It'd be OG collectors and they'd be like, I've been waiting years for this. Thank God it's coming back. And so I would like take note of that and I'd be like, all right, I gotta get this omnibus because a lot of people want it. And what if it goes out of print again? And yeah, it was so easy for me to get into omnis. It was my main hobby. I was working, so I was making my own money. Um, and the stuff was getting reprinted, so I didn't have to pay the crazy ridiculous prices.
And you
The
seem like, I mean, just in your story, it seems like you met your fiance when you were young. You guys met each other when you were
Yeah,
fairly young.
yeah.
So, those years, like I spent my early 20s going out every night, spending way too much money on booze and dinners and things like that, where you were already in love. You've already
Yep.
got I don't know when you moved in with her, but you're already together, so you didn't have to go out trying to find somebody else. You
Mhm.
had money and you're able to use your money on your hobby. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like everything was sort of
It
set
was
up for you.
Yeah, it was meant to be, man, because that was the best time to get into omnis. And I even like Ultimate Spider-Man. I have a funny story about Ultimate Spider-Man. Uh but that was my Grail Omni, and I was like, I want to get that. And I would go into Omar's lives on Sundays, and I'd always comment. I would donate like $1 or $5 for the super chat, and I'd be like, Omar, what do I have to do for them to reprint Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1? And he'd be like, just keep talking about it, man. Just keep talking and be patient. And then when it got reprinted, it was kind of bittersweet for me, because I actually bought I wanted to read Ultimate Spider-Man in OHC so bad that I looked online and I was looking for the Omni and I was like, should I buy this? It was going for like $200 at the
Oh,
time. And I finally found a set because they for Ultimate Spider-Man they also had regular OHCs, just the oversized hardcovers that collected like 12-ish deluxes, right? I found someone who sold the first 5 deluxes of Ultimate Spider-Man for like 150, and I was like, you know what? That collects more than the omnibus. I'm gonna do it. I bought it. It was off Mercari. I still have these screenshots. I kid you not. The day I bought those deluxe editions, the next day, Omar announced the Ultimate Spider-Man reprint. I have the screenshots to prove it
oh God.
with dates and everything. It was like I was like, okay, well, that was my sacrificial thing to like the real Omni gods like reprint volume 1. So then here's the real kicker. I was like, well, I'm not going to need to this day I wish I would have kept those deluxes just to have.
Mhm.
But I was like, well, I'm gonna get the omnibus. I gotta sell these deluxes. I tried to sell them for months for like even the same price. Ray, I let those deluxes go. The first 5 deluxes go for $40 on Mercari.
Oh my God.
I made someone's day, dude. I,
Wow.
but it is what it is. I'm just happy that it finally happened, and now we have all of Ultimate Spider-Man in
Mhm.
omnibus, and I, I,
Yeah, I
I
know.
love it.
In volume 2, there's another reprint coming for volume 2. What?
Yeah,
In I think
July,
it's
I
coming
think.
out here in weeks. I somewhere, maybe months, but I know they're doing another reprint of volume 2, so people are very happy about that.
Mhm.
Although it's horrific what happens to poor Gwen Stacy in that issue.
Yeah, that's
Oh
a
well. All right, so let's move ahead. We know you have a fascination with and you're loving omnibuses now.
Mhm.
We know you've got the Spider-Man omnibuses. I imagine you bought the Green Lantern by Jeff Johns omnibuses at this point.
Yep.
When did you decide I really like these? I think I want to start talking about them on TikTok. When did you decide I want to start making content about this stuff?
Yeah. Since I was a kid, I've wanted to like just do some form of it. Like showing off, and being like funny and creative and stuff like that. I feel like I've always kind of liked doing that stuff. I talked about that in my documentary too. Like everything that I wanted to be when I was a kid had something to do with me, like just talking and people listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
So since I was a kid, I wanted to make content, but I just never did it. And funny enough, this is my TikTok. So I started off on TikTok. That was the first time that I was like, I'm going to make content and talk to people about the stuff that I'm into. But funny enough, the reason I got into TikTok and the reason I made my first TikTok had nothing to do with comic books. It had to do with basketball. I used to be, not anymore because I hate how the NBA is now, but I used to be.
Boy, by the way, I'm sorry for your Timberwolves.
I'm not. Here's the thing. I'm not a T-Wolves fan. Funny
Okay.
enough. I grew up. I was raised in Minnesota, and I love Minnesota, and I do like the T-Wolves. Good stuff. I'm a Lakers fan. I've been a Lakers fan.
I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry for the Lakers.
Yeah, right.
Too.
So
sorry for your Lakers.
Hey man, I'm just happy that Wemby's about to mop the floor with OKC. In general, OKC just needs to. They piss me off so much. But anyway, we won't get too into. So before, I still like basketball, still watch it, but before I used to be into basketball. Like I would watch the Lakers. I've been a Lakers fan since 2010. And I remember it was when did Denver win their first championship? I can't remember. It's like 2023 or something. Right?
Their first 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Whenever didn't last 5 years.
They beat the Lakers in the playoffs, which I think was the first round. It might have been. And so I made a TikTok. I was so mad. Because I just didn't like how the Lakers were playing. I didn't like the organization and the route that they were going. I wasn't a fan of LeBron and his play style and how it, played into the team. Basketball heads, you know what I'm talking about, or you hate what I'm talking about. But I made a video ranting about us getting eliminated. And I was like, just going crazy, and I was talking to my phone, and I posted it because I was like, whatever. Like I've seen people talk about basketball on TikTok. I'm gonna talk about TikTok, and I feel like TikTok does this on purpose. But like my first video did pretty well. Like it got like a few thousand views, and then people started like commenting and stuff like that. And so I was like, I like that. It was that easy, huh? And so I made like 3 more basketball videos. And they did all right. But I just liked the fact that I was getting a couple views and that people were engaging with me and talking to me about basketball, which was something that I really loved. And so then Beyond the Spider-Verse comes out, the Miles movie, the second one. And I'm like, all right, I think I'm just going to go into comics and start talking about comic books. And so I did a video talking about Beyond the Spider-Verse, and I ranked all the Spider-Man movies. And then people started talking to me on there about comic books and about the Spider-Man movies. And so I was like, and then I made like a video and I was like, hey, I'm going to, I think I'm going to make this account about comic books, and I'm going to talk about comics, and I'm going to share my favorite stories and all this and all that and stuff like that. So I've been on TikTok for, I want to say 3 or 4 years. I think 4, because I'm pretty sure TikTok sent me a little thing saying happy 4-year anniversary. So yeah, 4 years ago, 2022 is when I was like,
when did you change the name to Omnibus God, or how did,
That's a funny story. That was a joke. Because so I got into TikTok, then I got into Comic Talk. I started making comic book videos, and since the beginning, the Comic Talk community's been amazing. I like meeting people like Cosmic. I know you had him on your show.
He's great.
He's always been like pretty big on Comic Talk, and like Speed Sultan and Stu and all of them. The Hall of Nerds guys. They were kind of the bigger guys at Comic Talk at the time, and they were really like approachable, and like you would talk to them and they would reply to you, and they followed me back, and so I got into the Comic Talk thing, and then I started meeting other people, and I met like really good friends. Obviously, if you follow me and Yoo-Hoo Comic Review,
sure, yeah, Yoo-Hoo.
him and I got really close, and to this day, you know, that's like one of my brothers. Uh, and I was also talking to a friend of mine, Jabrel. He used to make video. He doesn't really make videos anymore. But we were all kind of talking, and I can't remember what it was. Somebody had the name, like he shared a video, and it was someone showing off their manga, and I think their name was like Anime God or like Manga God. And so I made a joke and I was like, I should call myself the Omnibus God. And I can't remember if it was Yuhu or Jarrell, but they were like, oh, you should definitely do that. And you should just start being hella cocky about your collection and stuff, and you should change it. And so first I just changed, because you know on TikTok you can have your name and then your @ right? Like those are two different things. And so at first it was just Omnibus God as the name, like my username or whatever. And then someone commented on one of my videos and they were like, what happened to Doe's Comics? Because that was my original name, was Doe's Comics. And I made this video where I was like acting kind of snobby, and I was like, why the change to Omnibus God? Because when it comes to TikTok, I am the Omnibus God. I have the best collection, the best selection, and all this stuff. And that video kind of blew up, and I pivoted kind of to make these videos where I was like just showing off my collection, where I would like point to things and pull things out and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like finally like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna change my actual @ to Omnibus God, because I also like, I feel like for what's it called? So it's an actual technical phrase, right? But like searchability, right? Like if you type in Omnibus, the dude who has Omnibus in his name, Omnibus God, is probably gonna pop up. So I did it for that kind of stuff, and then
it's like you leaned into your joke, and that became your brand. I mean, you're not. I mean, that happens a lot. A lot of famous people it'll start as a joke or something not serious, and they eventually have to lean into it because it becomes their branding. And it seems like that's like you're just okay. I did it as a joke, but people are following it, so what the hell? I'm just going for it.
Yeah. So it just stuck, and I was like, you know what? It's cool. Do I actually think I'm the Omnibus God? No, I've said that before, but yeah, I don't know. It's a cool name. It's cooler than Doe's Comics. I mean, so
I know I always call you OG, which is weird because if anybody's an OG, it's the 50-year-old guy, you know, not the youngster. But it is. Your name is great. People, whenever when I go Omnibus Gods, when I want to get Omnibus God, everybody goes, oh, Omnibus God. Everybody knows the name. It is branded very well. So
thank you.
People know who you are, and they like it. When did the collection grow from? When did the collection grow from omnibuses that a kid working retail can get to what you have now? I mean, how many years did it take, or did you get them pretty early? Or
I mean, so like I said, I went into work right away after high school, and I kind of just worked my way up. And I worked in retail. I don't anymore because I kind of got fed up of it. But I became a manager pretty early on. I think I was like, when I turned 20, I became a manager, which was like a year into me working retail. And I just kept climbing the ladder. So I became like a supervisor, and then I became like an assistant, and then I became an assistant manager. And I would just go like, you know, anywhere I got the opportunity, I would work and work in managerial stuff. And so I got paid good. I will say retail, at least when I got into it, it pays good money. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time from you, but it's a lot of good money.
Well, so you live in a state that actually feels itchy. You're not living in Texas making $7 an hour. You live in a state that actually says people need a living wage, which helps.
Yeah. So
and also you're not going out and drinking and spending all your money like a lot of these guys, because you found your girlfriend when you were younger, you guys were, you know what I mean? You were very, um, you didn't risk money going out and
Yeah, that's a good
the
point. Yeah.
drugs and the booze and all that stuff. Like I said, you missed that part, and you were able to have a bit of disposable income to get things like omnibuses,
Yeah.
which ended up being really positive for you.
Yeah, no, it was kind of right away because I had never really collected anything when I was a kid or younger. I mean, obviously I had toys, but that was like when I was a kid. But so omnis and comics were kind of like my first like actual like thing I collected consistently. And so when I got extra money and I would see these sales, and like I said, I would just keep track of what was coming out and like what people were hyped about and what people would recommend. I would just order it. And yeah, I would do like big hauls, and I would pre-order stuff and just make sure I was ready to go for certain things. Um, and then yeah, like I would say once I got on the uh, TikTok, I had already kind of had like a pretty solid. I think I had like 200 omnis, and then I got onto TikTok and I was continuing to collect. But then I partnered up with Panelbound Comics, and those guys, bless those guys. They've JP and the crew have blessed me many times for making them content. I actually reached out to them, uh, and I basically just put myself out there, and I was like, hey, I noticed you guys have a TikTok channel and you guys don't do anything with it. I'd love to make content specifically for your channel, basically in exchange for free omnis, right? And like kind of that thing, like marketing the channel and the business. And JP is a genius. I interviewed him for the documentary, and this guy knows how to work with people and like how to sell the brand through other people and creatives and stuff like that. So he was pretty on board right away. And then we got Yoo-Hoo on. And so a big chunk of my collection, thankfully, is also been provided to me for the content and sales and work that I give to Panelbound, because I'm marketing them, and I'm making the money off of my content and stuff like that when I sell it to people. So that's, I would say, once I got onto TikTok, my collection grew even more because I was,
As
well,
your TikTok follower count grew, you're
yeah,
able to grow your benefits from it.
exactly, because more people.
What about do you still have? Are there still whales? Are there still Holy Grail books that you want to get that you don't have?
You know, I'm fortunate. Like I said, I came from the era, the greatest probably era of omnis ever, where just everything that could be a grail was coming out. So I don't really have anything that my last grail was Astonishing X-Men by Whedon, but then I got that. Shout out uh, Matt on TikTok, the comic Unk, he calls himself. He sold me that for a really great price. So now, I mean, it's just like holes here and there. I wouldn't, if I had to say I had a grail, like a book that I'm like, I want to have it, and I need, and it's out of print, it would probably be Devil Dinosaur by Jack Kirby.
Yeah, I just mine was War of Kings Aftermath,
Really?
and I just got it. I just
Nice.
got it, and I would grab it, but it's too far away. Yeah, I just got War of Kings Aftermath and Marvel Knights, the Kevin Smith, Joe Quesada, Daredevil, and I
Yeah.
just got them both, and oh my god, what a happy day! It was a happy day in my household. I'll tell you that,
Yeah.
at least for me.
Right.
But it's
No,
nice when you fill the holes in the collection, right?
no, 100%. I,
How
I,
many Calyx shells?
I've got, I'm not in the room right now. That's why I have this background, but,
Right.
I've got my two Spidey shelves. That's two, three is the middle one. Four, five, six. I think I've got six. I've got six,
Awesome. That's awesome, man.
and four of them are like on the side. They like they're out, so I have them double sided.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got almost 500 books in the collection.
It's awesome, man. You still have
Omnis.
all the paperbacks that you used to have, or have you sold those?
No, I got rid of those. I sold those on Mercari.
You don't have any paperbacks?
No, I have a
Okay.
couple, like here and there. I probably have less than 10 paperbacks, honestly.
So do you have Epic Collections or DC Finest or any of those?
Yeah, I have those are like the paperbacks I have. I have, although I'm gonna get rid of those, so they won't be a part of the collection
See,
anymore.
I have a sickness. I look at this. I mean, this is you'll see in a second. There we go. There's my paperbacks.
Yeah, no, Ray.
I know. I know. I'm quadruple and quintuple dipping, and
I luckily, I don't know what it was, but I am very lucky that I have never ever gotten the double. I hate double dipping. Actually.
oh man,
I
wish.
hate that. It takes a very special case for me to double dip. I technically do have double dips. Like, I mean, when you collect, if you're an Omni collector, you know that double dipping is inevitable. When it comes to, like, you might have an omnibus of Spider-Man that most of it is brand new stuff, but like 2 issues is collected in another. You know what I mean? Stuff like that happens, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. But I hate double dipping when it's like a majority of stuff, and I don't like having the same book in different formats. So like the closest thing I have to like just being extra repetitive is I have 2 deluxe hardcovers of Spider-Man Life Story.
Okay.
And then
I do not. That's a Chip Zdarsky book. I do not have that. That's the one Spider-Man book I don't have. I know the reprint's coming.
You don't have the Omni? Even the
No,
Omni?
I don't. It's the one.
Yeah.
That is the one Spider-Man omnibus I do not have. Are there any Spider-Man omnibuses you don't have?
Technically, but there's Spider-Man omnibus that I don't care for. So like,
Really?
so here's an example. The Gang War and the
I had to get that.
The dark web omnis. I don't want those because I'm going to get the Zeb Well omnis,
right,
and that's going to double dip with those. So I just skipped those 2 entirely, and then I got the Zeb Wells Volume 1, and then I'll get the Zeb Wells Volume 2. And then stuff like event omnis, I don't do those because I hate how much they double dip sometimes.
I hate the way they're mapped, but I have.
And that's another, the way they're mapped is terrible most of the time.
I have such an illness. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I don't. Why do you think you like double dipping?
I don't. I don't like it. No, I just do it. I wish to God I didn't do it. Oh my god.
Well, what's your worst double dip?
Okay.
How far have you dipped?
Okay, probably Death of Superman. Death of Superman has the Death of Return of Superman omnibus. Okay, I've got that.
Right.
I have the Death and Return of Superman Absolute Edition. I have that.
Okay.
The Triangle Era Volume 2. I have that.
Oh my gosh.
The Special Compendium. I have the Death and Return of Superman Compendium. I have paperbacks. Hold on.
Is it the collection ones that have the S on the side?
Yes, I have those too, and I have. I'm going to grab these because I can see them right now.
Yeah.
I'll show you these.
Can I see? Oh, here we go. I'm on the YouTube now, guys. I can see your guys' comments. Give me Cyclops when you get.
These are just regular paperbacks that I also have.
I used to have those. Hold on, wait.
I'm couple dipping the Death and Return of Superman.
Oh, Ray, you just said that you don't like doing it.
I know. I don't.
So then why did you get the compendium and the absolute?
Let me tell you, OG. Let me tell you. I've never done drugs. I don't do any drugs.
Okay.
I used to have a problem with food. I don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't drink anymore. I don't have any vices. I've never cheated on my wife. I don't have any vices. The one vice I have is my addiction to comic books.
Okay.
So I hate that I already have X-Men, so many different X-Men books, but yet I see an epic collection of X-Men coming out. And I'm like, oh, I got to have it. And it's like, well, I already have that. No, nope, doesn't matter. I've got to get it. So I just have a sickness that compels me to want to own these things, even though I don't want to double and triple and quadruple dip. Yeah, it's a sickness.
Because for me, I've always been about like, I just want to read this stuff. And so for me, it's like if I'm triple dipping, it's like I'm gonna have, which is crazy to say, because at the end of the day, collect how you want to collect, right? It's people, you can spend your money how you want to spend your money, as long as you're doing it right, safe, and whatever. But I think sometimes people get caught up on the newer, shinier thing, and I'm like, I'm about accessibility.
I get caught up. I'll be honest. I get caught up when I walk into this room
and
I look at it. I go, look at that. I've been I was in radio for a long time. I was in entertainment for a long time. Mm-hmm. I wrote for, I would write jokes for, I have non-disclosure agreements, so I can't get into all the details, but
oh wow,
I would write jokes for big events,
mm-hmm.
and they would give certain things. So I could have a room with awards and plaques and whatever. I've never been interested in that. I could have a room with, like, here's my accolades, or here's this, or I could have, here's pictures of me playing in my band, opening for so-and-so. I could have, here's me meeting Kiss and David Lee Roth or whatever. But I don't have any of that stuff. But what I have is rooms where I look at my comic collection and go, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Which I don't know how boring I am to the handful of friends I have when they come over to my house and I go, you want to see my comic room? They usually go, no, I have no interest in your comic room. But to me, this is a big deal. And I have this room, plus I have another room that is all my epic collections and DC Finest and Absolutes. And now I'm going to have a room that's just my paperbacks. So I have this sickness, and I wish I didn't. But I think that's the problem with comic collectors. We have a sickness like that.
Yeah.
You're lucky that you do not.
Yeah, no, I get your point though. And you know what, Ray, from the story that you told me, and like just from your background, you deserve it, man.
Oh,
you deserve to be able to just walk into that room and be happy. And that's what's most important. To me, I think if you can have some sort of sentimental value towards your collection, that it's like okay, who cares what you do with it? But like, the people that just kind of want to collect for value or stuff like that. I've gotten some crazy comments in the past on my videos and stuff where people just care about value and like how much something is worth. And
yeah, I don't,
dude, who cares?
Are you like me? Do you ever plan? This is a serious question because I know my answer to this. Do you ever plan on selling your collection?
No,
you plan to die with your collection, right?
So much so I've told my fiance before. I've told her like, hey, if I die preemptively, this is what you got to do. Like, like I would want her to sell the collection, but like as long as I'm alive, I don't see myself. Yeah. I'm not going to do it. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I mean, I love my fiance more than anything in the world. So if I needed to, I would. And I have sold Omnis before, when I needed the money and stuff like that.
But also, I want to point this out about you. This is how you're not a big double dip guy. I know this for a fact. You have sent me. You sent me an omnibus one day out of the blue. This is how good David. This is how good omnibus God is. Out of the blue one day, he says, "Hey, what's your address?" And I give him my address, and an omnibus and a Wildcats compendium showed up at my house as a gift from him. And it was such a gracious gift that I thank you so much for that. But And I said, why are you giving me this awesome omnibus? It was an omnibus I didn't have. And you said, because I think you said you already had a copy. And so you just sent me the extra one. I was like, oh my God. And it was such a nice, I still have it and I love it. It was such a nice thing to do. So, I mean, I guess I should know that you don't double dip since you sent me one as a gift once, which was wonderful.
Yeah. No.
So I guess I do know that, but I wish I could do that. I wish I could. I mean, I give stuff away, but I wish I had it in me to say, you know what, I already own that, and I already have 4 of them. So let's get rid of some, or let's sell some. I can't do it.
I'm starting to get to the point where I even am starting to like get really close of just getting rid of stuff that I don't even like. Because before I used to be very like, okay, if I buy something, it stays in the collection. And the only reason I'll sell it is if I need the money and I can get it back. But I have this rule, and I still kind of play by it, but it's getting a little bit more lenient. Where for me, a book in my collection either has to be 4 stars or I need to love the artwork. Like the artwork, or it needs to be a specific character. So like Spider-Man, no matter what, I'm collecting it all, right? Like that's my guy. So any Spider-Man is staying in the collection. Anything X-Men is staying in the collection. But if I read something and I don't like it, and if the artwork isn't really that compelling to me, I might give it away. For example, I'm currently more recently I gave away my JLA by Grant Morrison omnibus because I did not like that book.
Wow.
I read it and I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I think the art is really good by Howard Porter, but it wasn't selling me. So I was like, you know what? I got to let this book go. So I sent it to a friend. And right now I'm low key trying to get rid of my Mike Grail Green Arrow omnibus.
Oh wow, you don't like Mike Grail Green Arrow?
I thought it was all right. I thought it was an okay read, but I think that's a run where if I were to keep reading it, I'd be fine reading it digitally, or like it didn't sell me that much. So.
I love Green Arrow. Of course I'm a big liberal. I mean, I am so Green Arrow. I'm Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
That's just his politics are mine. And you know what I mean? I love Green Arrow. It's one of my favorite all-time heroes. I could never sell a Green Arrow book. There's just no way.
Yeah.
You're talking about that and I'm just going, oh my God, is there something wrong with him? Is he sick? Is he not telling us the truth?
No.
We got a super chat. Hold on. I got a super chat. Let me
nice.
applaud. Oni Baba Yaga says, new Marvel collectors need help selecting omnibuses to build our collections. So much double dipping. We need help selecting events and how to collect. Omnibus God would know. He's an expert. Yeah. So people like when you give advice. When we give advice in our content, people really enjoy it. They like knowing. Do you find that they like your reviews, that they listen to you when you say, well, here's what you should do if you want to get the best collection?
I would assume so. I'd like to think that my supporters like to hear what I think. I get a lot of comments asking specific things, and one of the biggest things, because this kind of blew up on Comic Talk, but like I was talking about the Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 2 because I was getting a lot of comments about that where people were like, when is Marvel going to reprint Volume 2? What are they going to do with it? And I made 2 videos. I made one little funny video where I was like, I'm manifesting the reprint of, Volume 2. But then I made another video where I was like, realistically, this is what you should do. Because I like helping out. I don't want someone to get screwed over and like pay crazy amounts of money for an Omni if I don't think it's worth it to necessarily. Like, again, at the end of the day, like whatever you want to do with your money, whatever makes you happy, do it. But realistically, it's like if I was one of those people that back in 2019 paid $500 for X-Men Volume 1 or X-Men Volume 2, I would have been pissed because I read that stuff and I was like, this is not $500 worth.
Yep.
And so I was happy when I was able to get both of those Omnis for $40 total, right? So I like to help people and tell them, like, just wait, just hold off, be
Here's
patient.
your tips. Be patient.
That's the biggest tip I will give a new Omni collector, is to just wait and evaluate what you want to do with your collection.
Oh, I wish I had that ability.
If you are a big Spider-Man fan and you love all Spider-Man and you want to collect all Spider-Man, then that can be your priority. Take your time and do your research. I would tell Spider-Man fans right now to buy whatever you can find of Ultimate Spider-Man. So, like, if you can find Volume 3, 1, or 4, and 5 is currently in stock, get those right now, because they reprinted Volume 2. So what's going to happen? And then what happened? And I told this to people. I said it to people in the video. I said, because there was people that would tell me, like, oh, I didn't buy Volume 1 because Volume 2 was out of print, so I didn't know what to do. Well, now guess what? Volume 1 is out of print. And so that's why I tell people, if there's something that you really want to collect and it's a volume set and it's coming out chunk by chunk, get what you can at the moment and be patient. I'm trying to, that's how I collected Spider-Man. I mean, I bought Volume 1 again. I paid a pretty penny for it, but then Volume 2 got reprinted, so I purchased that. And then I think honestly, Volume 4 got reprinted before Volume 3. Wow. So then I pre-ordered Volume 4, and then because I told myself there's no way they don't reprint Volume 3, and then boom, they reprinted Volume 3. I bought it.
Yep.
And so you just you can like pick like with like parts, but prioritize and do your research. And honestly, another big advice: read the stuff before you get it a little bit. Take a sampler, read some stuff online. If you have the Unlimited app or the DC Infinite app, or if you do other ways of of reading your comics, that's a good research, because you should get something that you not only are happy with because it's in your collection, but you should get something that you're happy with because, like, you read it and it's good stuff. You know what I mean? Like, there should be something there for you. So patience, research, those are my biggest tips for people that are getting into Omnis.
Let me say to our audience, guys, if you want questions, go ahead and ask them now. I saw Yoo-Hoo's in there. I don't know if he's still in.
Yeah,
but ask questions, guys. Ask some questions. I'll put them up and we'll answer them. Go ahead now. Omnibus God, you want to ask him something? He is here, and I will continue to ask some questions. For example, most overrated superhero is
Batman.
Oh my God.
Batman. So much so that I'm a chew while I
I feel like Fred Sanford. Oh Lord. That's probably a reference you don't understand, but oh my God.
Is it Batman? You know what? I feel like it's Batman.
Wow.
Maybe
most underrated superhero.
Most underrated superhero. Probably Wonder Woman, to an extent. I know that's crazy to say because she's one of the biggest superheroes ever, but I mean, just look at like what it is, right? The fact that she doesn't get that many comics. You really get like there's like Wonder Woman and that's it. And then like Batman and Superman, they got action comics, Superman, Detective Comics, Batman, and then a bunch of other miniseries and stuff going on. Wonder Woman doesn't really get that. And I feel like a lot of people kind of just don't give her the respect that they do with the other guys. It doesn't help that she has a pretty controversial run right now with the main Wonder Woman stuff. But like stuff with like the absolute Wonder Woman, I think that shows the potential of people getting into Wonder Woman and like how great of a character she actually is. And so I would say Wonder Woman.
Best superhero team.
Oh, that's a good one. Best Fantastic Four.
They're
the most important
good
team
answer.
Of Marvel. They're the reason Marvel exists the way it exists. And they're just so interesting. They're so different. because it was that Stan Lee and Jack Kirby came up with the Fantastic Four to compete with the Justice League, right? But I think what they did with the Fantastic Four was so different compared to the Justice League because they had that family dynamic. It was more like reality based. They were kind of the like first like celebrity superheroes. Like they played into that for the first time. It's way more to me. The Fantastic Four is way more interesting than the Justice League, especially back in their first iterations. Is what I
love it. What about who's the greatest of all time? Let's talk about the goats. Goat Rider.
Goat Rider. Are you asking me who I think like my favorite or who
in your opinion? In my opinion, who is the greatest of all? I say Jeff Johns. Who is the Goat Rider?
The Goat Rider probably is Grant Morrison. Because
although you said you hate his Justice League, or you hate his JLA.
I hate Morrison's JLA, but I love Morrison's Earth 2, which is the JLA. I think Morrison's Batman is mid, but I think it did a lot of things for the character of Batman, and I think it's a love letter to the character. I love Animal Man. I think Animal Man is a top 3, maybe top 2 greatest comic book of all time.
Wow.
And I think Morrison, just overall the impact that they have to the comic book industry and how different Morrison is so noticeable. You know what I mean? Like you can't really replicate Morrison. Like you just end up kind of if you copy Morrison, you're copying Morrison. Does that make sense? Like,
yeah,
they're just such an innovative writer. I would say Morrison or like Frank Miller. You know, one of those two. Because Frank Miller
is a goat artist.
Jack Kirby.
You think Kirby's the goat?
Jack Kirby is the greatest artist of all time, hands down.
Greatest Spider-Man artist of all time.
Mark Bagley. I just made a video about Mark Bagley.
Okay, I love Mark Bagley. I'm a big New Warriors fan.
Yeah,
so I love Mark Bagley.
Yeah,
I think the Michelini and Bagley omnibuses are fantastic. I love those and all the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, Bagley's amazing.
All right, let me get to some of these questions, and we'll try to answer them. I know you got to leave.
I got some time. We got some time. Okay. I'll let yeah.
Let me. Here we go. Next Tuesday says Omnibus God, best Marvel event, wrong answers only. Go.
Best Marvel event, wrong answers only. Go. That's a good one. Civil War.
I love Civil War.
You love Civil War?
I loved it. I love Civil War.
A great idea. Poor execution, in my opinion. But it is fun. It is a fun book. You know what kind of sucked? What's it called? That the Secret War. That's a good. That's Secret. The original.
Yeah.
The original. No. Sorry. Secret Wars. No, the original Secret Wars by
they were talking back in the 80s?
84 Secret
Jim
Wars.
Shooter one?
Overrated. So bad. I hate that.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Stinker.
Yeah.
Secret Wars 2 also really bad.
Yeah, and it was really bad. And omnibuses that cost a fortune. I don't know why anyone would want to get them.
No, dude. They should never reprint that Omni. It would.
I thought you were talking about the Brian Michael Bendis Secret War Omni.
No. That's a good read. That's a good read.
Omnibus God, long-time listener, first-time caller. Quick question: can I have free Omnis?
You know what? See you next Tuesday. If you check out my channels, every now and then, man, I'm giving stuff away. I have this podcast with three of my good friends. Yoo-Hoo is one of them. Crash Out Comics. Maybe check out that podcast because sometimes we bless people, you know. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Always an instigator says, "What does David think Yoo-Hoo's worst?" I'm trying not to call you David. What does David think Yoo-Hoo's worst comic opinion is?
That's such a good question. He has a lot because Yoo-Hoo has terrible taste.
Here's what I love about Yoo-Hoo, dude. Here's what I love.
Yeah. Say something nice before I say the mean thing.
I will say this about you. I know other people hate it, but like I said, I'm very liberal, but I keep my politics away from comic books because I try to separate politics from, this is my passion. This is my love. I don't want to include politics. And I don't want somebody who loves Donald Trump to go, I'm never going to support this son of a bitch because blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yoo-hoo does not give a shit. Yoo-hoo doesn't care. Yoo-hoo will go on, and in the middle of, you go to his videos and you're like, I think he's going to talk about this comic. It's going to be great. And it'll be 10 minutes of him talking about he'll bring up politics. He just doesn't care how many people say you really shouldn't do that. That's one of my favorite things about Yoo-hoo. I think he's very brave.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. He stands on his morals, and I respect that a lot. And I admire him for that. But his takes and his
all right, now you get the shit on it. Go ahead.
Terrible, dude. This guy, he likes Batman Damned. He likes that book. That book is terrible if you've ever read it. He doesn't like Silver Age comics. Like, he's really weird about old comics. Like, anything before like the 70s, he's just such a negative Nancy about it. Like, he's just such a
so he wouldn't give Golden Age a shot.
No, I think he told me he was gonna read Batman Golden Age, but like, he's just, it's just because it's He also likes Batman way too much. Like, it's an unhealthy liking that he has with Batman, that it's just like, I don't know, but yeah, he likes he has bad taste. He's not really a fan of Spider-Man. He has this whole video where he said learning to love Silver Age Spider-Man, but the whole video is just him crapping on Silver Age Spider-Man. So I'm like, dude, what is this clickbait title? So yeah, I don't know. I think his inability to enjoy older runs and not respect them. He also just doesn't have respect for older runs. He thinks like, he'll say stuff like, you need to put your head in a different space to read Silver Age. You need to meet them where they're at. No, you don't. They're just good comics. Like, there's good comics now. There was good comics then. It's that simple. I don't know, but yeah.
Oni Baba Yaga, another super chat, says, hey, thank you, Oni Baba, appreciate it. What's the best starting Marvel event to collect omnibuses from? That point forward for new collectors. Older events and Krakoa era are hot messes.
So what are the best Marvel event? I mean, what's out right now? I think, funny enough, I think X-Men is probably what's the best stuff right now with Krakoa, because you have the Dawn of X Omnis.
Yeah.
So I think if you're interested in Krakoa, like, if you haven't read it, but you're intrigued by it, I think right now is actually the best time to do it, because those Dawn of X Omnis are a really fun way to get everything. Like, the whole, like, they've never done that before in an Omni, where it's like 8 issues of X-Men, 8 issues of Excalibur, 8 issues of Wolverine. You know what I mean? And I think that's really fun. And they map it really well, because
they're mapped very well, considering how bad Marvel maps event stuff.
Yeah,
they're mapping the X-Men stuff, the Dawn of X, and the Blue and Gold stuff is mapped really well.
I would say too, if you're DC does a way better job of this. DC, I think, for the most part, when it comes to like Infinite Crisis, that kind of always is in rotation. You could usually get a copy of Infinite Crisis
perfectly mapped,
and it's perfectly mapped. Crisis,
a perfectly mapped omnibus. I love this omnibus.
Yeah, and stuff like the Blackest Night Omni and the Final Crisis Omni. They're not mapped the same as Infinite Crisis. Infinite Crisis is better mapping wise, but those two Omnis, it's good enough. The material is good enough to make up for, the weird mapping. And it's not like you need it to be mapped a certain way. Like Blackest Night, I think that whole era was amazing. And I think the tie-ins for all that whole thing was great. I love the Batman issues, the Superman issues, the Justice League issues. So if you get the Blackest Night Omnibus, that's just a fun way for you to kind of get a sampler of all these different titles and what was happening with Blackest Night.
I would say when it comes to Marvel events, it doesn't have Civil War in it, but if you get New Avengers by Bendis Volume 1 and New Avengers by Bendis Volume 2, and if you notice on my shelf, I don't know if you guys can see this. So let me try to zoom in so you can see it, and I'll make my point. If you look, you'll see that I have the Secret Invasion omnibus, which is also very good.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
You can see the New Avengers 1 and 2 Secret Invasion. And you do that, and then you get like Thunderbolts Dark Reign, which is coming out. You can get, and then you get the Siege, which is in Thor. You can start mapping the early aughts 2000 Marvel era. You can start getting those books are, although they don't have Civil War, they really are good to read in omnibus. They haven't done it yet, but eventually Marvel's going to do a Matt Fraction, Salvador La Roca omnibus of Iron Man, and that's during the Dark Reign era, and that's going to be fantastic. I think that whole Civil War, Secret Invasion, Dark Reign, that whole era is so good, and I think you can bounce from omnibus to omnibus, and I think they collect that very well. Although they don't have their Civil War is not in any omnibus.
Yeah,
which is very confusing to me.
I'm surprised they haven't done anything with Civil War. It's probably because it's such a massive event.
Yeah,
but they definitely should at some point.
How would they put that out? By the way, Always Instigator says they massively underprinted the New Avengers Volume 1 reprint. It's so expensive. You see, that sickens me because New Avengers Volume 1 is a book that everyone should own. That book should be evergreen and available for any kind of new omnibus reader to get into it. It's such a great book. It's one of those books everyone should own.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of weird stuff going on with Marvel now. I don't know if you heard, but not too long they fired.
I know people were fired, and
so who knows what's going to happen? I mean, it was already.
I wait for Omar to make an announcement. That's I think he would probably know before any of us know. But by the way, we should both say it. Happy anniversary to Omar. Merman Conditions.
Yeah,
so 10 years, man.
10 years. Yeah, hard work, paving the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
good for him. And by the way, I think he's responsible for this type of content creation. I mean, he's the guy that first started talking about collected editions.
Yeah, no, he's really.
God bless him.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of great stuff to begin with, and what he's grown into.
David, what's your opinion on the worst era of pre-2000 Spidey, or your least favorite Spidey writer and artist?
That's a good question. And shout out Logan, man. This dude's always showing love on my channel. Logan, I need to find a way to contact you so I can get you hooked up with
Logan's great. He lives in UK, so
does it?
It's expensive to send him stuff.
Yeah, but he supports, man. I love, and he's always so kind. He always leaves me really kind.
He's a good guy.
It just genuinely makes my day. But that's a good question. I would say the thing about pre-2000, it's funny that you asked this because I'm actually like working on like this 3-part project for Spider-Man, and one of the things is going to be talking about 2000 Spider-Man and like why people are so attached to it and why it was such a special era. And then I'm also going to talk about like how people are so like against what happened with One More Day, you know, Peter and MJ splitting up, that they kind of give up on Spider-Man. I've had full actual conversations with people, that like real people online, about how they haven't read a Spider-Man comic since One More Day, because to them that's when the character.
I was one of those people.
Yeah,
I was one of those people. But I finally read Brand New Day this year.
Yeah,
and it blew my. I loved it.
It's good stuff, right?
Oh my god!
It's just I understand the decision is terrible, and there is really big problems with the character, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have good stories. Even recently. As for the worst era, pre-2000, so that's before 2000s, right? Probably the stuff that was happening like in the late 90s, like before JMS came on, and so you kind of had a little bit of John Byrne, you had a little bit of like it was back and forth with DeFalco,
Mhm.
and it was just like weird stuff where it was like you had like Norman Osborn was doing like this weird occult thing. The what was it called? It's called something like the Sins of the Eight or something, and it's just this like really weird, goofy stuff. So I would say like the late like literally 98 to 99 of
The
Spider-Man.
post David Michelini era.
Yeah, you
When
could. Yeah,
Michelini left,
yeah.
it got a little weird.
Yeah, it was just I think it was a little bit of a mess. Obviously, Clone Saga. I haven't read all of Clone Saga because so I can't speak too much on it. But I've read some of like the like for videos and stuff for like research. I've read some of like that late '90s stuff, and it's not that. It's like weird. It's like really strange and like kind of just boring and stale. So for the my least favorite Spider-Man writer, John, I'll give you three because I don't know how I would rank them. Probably John Byrne,
Yep.
Mark Miller, Mark Millar, however you say his last name, Mark Millar, with the Marvel Knights, Spider-Man Marvel Knights. I hated that book. And then I'll throw in Zeb Wells in there, but I do think Zeb Wells gets a little bit overhated. I don't hate the Zeb Wells run as much as other people do. But I'd like to think that's because I'm actually a Spider-Man fan, and I
like to excuse Zeb Wells. People talk about Zeb Wells, how good he was, then he got bad. His personal life. He was really good when his personal life was really good, and then when everything went to hell, his story started going. So what
happened with his personal life? I don't
know.
Well,
he was dating and eventually married Heidi Gardner.
Who's that?
She was on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
And so they were dating, and he was happy, and all his stories were really positive. And she was on Saturday Night, and she started getting more famous on Saturday Night Live, and everything was good. And then I don't know what happened, but their marriage broke up, and they were having problems, and eventually it led to divorce. And then his story started turning to
wow, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
I think the personal life
affected, yeah.
The personal life affected. So I feel bad for Zeb Wells.
That's probably why he separated. Well, no, I think it was editorial, but it's probably why he was doing all that weird stuff with Paul, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think that he,
projecting a little bit. You think he was self-insert?
I don't know what happened, but I know his books got. As his marriage fell apart, because the greatness of his books and that in the Brand New Day, the early stuff, his books were so good.
It was solid, yeah. It was
and his first Spider-Man books were really good, but man, they got bad as it went on. Oni Baba says Mutant Massacre, Inferno, Infinity, Gauntlet, Age of Apocalypse, Onslaught, all have 3+ omnis for them. What event is a good jump on forward?
Is Infinity, I would say, if we're not talking about accessibility, I would say Infinity Gauntlet. That's a really fun event. And I think that book is mapped really well, at least the first one, where it's like you get to see Thanos and how he gets the Infinity Gems, because that's what they were called originally. Mm-hmm. And you get the Silver Surfer stuff. And then
the whole Marvel universe is involved in that Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah. So it's really cool. And then you've got Infinity Crusade and then Infinity War and then Infinity Crusade. I haven't gotten to the second or third one, but Gauntlet is fun. I think if you can get your hands on Infinity Gauntlet, even that would be something where it's like even if you just read that Omni on its own, you're good. That kind of tells its own story, So
hoping my ass wasn't on camera there, but yeah, Infinity Gauntlet is very good. Infinity War, all those books are fantastic.
Yeah,
very good. I remember when I first read this, I always thought the most interesting part of Infinity Gauntlet. That's when I was getting singles. I wondered when I was reading it. I was like, okay, somebody from one of the heroes is going to get that glove. Somebody's going to get that glove. And so in my head, while I was reading, I was like, okay, it's going to be Reed Richards, right? It's going to be Reed is going to be the guy who's going to end up getting it and fixing everything. And I really like the way I like the way how, and I'm trying not to give spoilers for anybody who hasn't read it, but I like the way how eventually the heroes do, and somebody does get the glove to use the Infinity Gems. And it's just, it doesn't, or the people involved, it doesn't play out the way you think it should. I always thought that was very good writing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like who is pure of heart enough to do what needs to be done?
Yeah.
Who is the one that can do it? And unlike the movies, it's not Tony Stark.
Yeah. No, Infinity Gauntlet's really good. I definitely recommend it, and it does a really good job with with all the other runs that were happening at the time, like the Hulk stuff with Peter David. There's like really interesting like the tie-ins to that. It doesn't really mess with the flow of the run, whereas later on, event. I don't know about you, Ray, but personally, I hate events. I especially Marvel events.
I just wish they were mapped. I wish Marvel mapped them better. I love events if they're mapped correctly. Marvel events are never mapped properly.
Yeah. Well, to me, I'm saying like in general, like I just really get bothered when a run gets interrupted by an event and it kind of messes with the flow. I was talking about Peter David's Hulk run. Infinity Gauntlet, when that happened and you're reading it, like Peter David does a really good job, and it's like, okay, it's not too crazy, so it doesn't get too interrupted, and it still is like really good comics. But like the Heroes Reborn stuff, I hated that. I hated the way that it's like kind of just stunted the run of Peter David's Hulk because they were just doing all this wacky stuff with the Marvel Universe. And I love Peter David, rest in peace. He's a phenomenal writer. I think Peter David is one of the best writers of all time, but even he couldn't do anything with how messed up they were doing his run because of all these events and stuff like that. So I just always have a grudge against Marvel events and like how they interrupt the flow of a comic run, you know.
I think the way and it's editorial. You hit it earlier when you said
it's editorial always.
It's editorial, and you've got to plan it. They have to plan their books a lot more in advance. I wonder now if they're not planning properly. But if you go back to that early 2000s Marvel, they were planning it properly. They were everybody was ready for Civil War. They were ready for Secret Invasion. You know what I mean? They were ready for the Dark Reign era. They were ready for all that stuff because they planned it so early. And some of these events you could tell that other creators are not ready for because it seems that editorial decisions take them by surprise and their whole runs go to hell. And
exactly.
By the way, Infinity Gauntlet, people have been wanting a reprint of that for a long time. Marvel is not going to do a reprint of it, but the new Silver Surfer omnibus that's coming out in maybe September or October, somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's going to have the entire Infinity Gauntlet in it. And it's going to be all those Silver Surfer stories that were in the Infinity Gauntlet omnibus. Mm. That's going to make up the Silver Surfer Infinity Gauntlet omnibus that's coming out. It's going to have the Infinity Gauntlet event and all the Silver Surfer stuff. That's all coming out in the Silver Surfer omnibus that's coming out. So I just thought I'd say that for those guys, for those that don't have it and have wanted it.
Are you going to get it, Ray?
You'll have a chance to get it.
Are you going to get it, Ray?
Yeah, of course. What am I, a farmer? Of course I'll get. Of course I'm gonna get my Infinity Gauntlet, my Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I wanted to that one, and then I found out how much it double dipped, and I was like, no, I'm not getting this on me.
you have Infinity Gauntlet though, right?
I do. That's why.
Yeah, you've got it. So
that's why I've got it. But I do. You know what? I kind of earlier. This isn't a Grail. It's a whole though, and I wish I would have got it when it was out. I think it's still out of print. The Silver Surfer Spaceways omnibus.
Oh, I just got it.
Dude, is it still in stock? Is it still in print?
You know where I found it? It was on my show. I was doing a stream and somebody started talking about it. I said, oh my God, I don't have that. And I contacted my buddy Adam at Crooks and Bandits Comics, and Adam said you couldn't order it anymore. So I was like, oh my God, where am I going to find it? I was looking on eBay. I was trying to find it. You want to know where I found it?
Where?
Freaking Amazon. I just watched it on Amazon. And it was available. So I said, crap, I bought it from Amazon. That's where I found it.
Is it a good deal or was it full price?
No, it wasn't. Of course, it's Amazon. It wasn't a good deal at all. It was way too much money, but I have it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's one I should have got when it was out because it was I mean it was already kind of going quick. Yeah, it's on Amazon for $150.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think I paid a little less than that, but not much.
I need to get the Dawn of X Volume 2 Omni, and I think I am gonna have to pay $150.
Oh,
for that.
dude, it's good.
But
It's good.
yeah, I need that. I need Volume 2 bad.
Reign of X and Way of X both coming out this year.
I know I need a pre-order. I've been getting bad.
Have you already planned your omnibuses for the rest of this year? Will you be getting the Legion of Superheroes omnibus?
No.
Why not? What do you mean? How do you know?
No.
Like you're insulted by the Legion of Superheroes? Oh, I thought we were friends. Oh my god.
I'm not really into like that I don't really like Superman like that. And like his, like that stuff just doesn't appeal to me, I think I'm more of a Marvel guy, and when it comes to DC, I'm very like I don't know, like
we heard your comments on Batman.
Yeah, I can't tell you what my most probably my most anticipated DC omnibus this year. I don't even know what's coming out, but I would say the Bronze Age Batman omnibus.
Oh god, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited about that.
But besides that, but like, that's like one DC Omni that I could tell you where I'm like, I need to get that.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to Marvel, shit, I could name, Spider-Man Volume 7's coming out. I got to get that.
Yeah.
Brand New Day Volume 3's coming out.
Yeah.
You were talking about it earlier, the Thunderbolts Dark Reign.
Oh, yeah.
I need that. There's a handful of Marvel Omnis where I'm like, I gotta get that. All the Reign of X stuff, like you were talking about, Dawn of X and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
a Slasher says the Silver Surfer Infinity Gauntlet is getting a better mapping anyway. It's getting rid of the stupid tie-in issues that don't really have much to do with the storyline. Yeah, and they're doing that in lieu of doing a reprint of Infinity Gauntlet. If you've never read that story and you want it, it's not in your collection. The Silver Surfer Infinity Gauntlet is going to give you a chance to get it. So
that's fair. Yeah, that's smart. That's a great way to kind of like fill in. Like shout out Yoo-Hoo. He does this, but like for example, I think Inferno, the X-Men Inferno Omni, is really out of print right now, and he wanted to read the story, so he got the X Factor Volume 2, which collects.
Yeah.
So he did it like that. So sometimes that is a good thing where it's like, if a book does double dip with something, you can pick it up if something else is out of print or whatever. So, yeah.
Day-Day!
Oh, Day-Day! How's it going?
Day-Day, Omnibus God, I've been trying to get Day-Day to be on, to give me a date that I could get him here on Roundtable.
You want to know something funny, right? I tried to get Day-Day on the Omnibus documentary, and you know what he told me? He said he scoffed at me. And he said, as if I would be in your garbage video. And I was like, hey, man, I've been watching Day-Day since he started.
I love Day-Day.
I was a day one sub. And so he was one of the first people I thought of to get up. No, I'm just joking. I hit him up. He got busy. He's a busy guy. I know he's got a lot going on.
When I broadcast with OmniDog, I do a stream with OmniDog and Day-Day. That was one of my funnest ever streams to be at. He's such a fun guy. I want Day-Day to be on Roundtable. I want Yoo-Hoo on Roundtable. I saw Batmantha. I want her on Roundtable. I've seen many people that have been in the chat room that I all want to get on this show. So Omnibus God was near the top of my list, so I'm having him on. But you guys got to know that I want all of you on.
Yeah, and great people.
I'll be reaching out to all of you, so please don't avoid me. Do not avoid me.
Shout out Day-Day. He's such a great guy.
Yeah, Day-Day is great. Love Day-Day. Let me see if let me grab another question before we get out of here. So I know you said you got a. Oh, is it already? It's already too late. Is it too late?
No, we could. Yeah, we could keep going.
Okay,
should be good.
Omnibus God, you made me feel bad, bro. I still got to make it up to you, man. Ray, we'll be talking soon. All right, Day-Day. I'm gonna hold you to it, buddy. I really want Day-Day on.
I need the Omni Nations plug, man. I need the stimulus from you. I need to get your clout. No.
He's just his person. I mean, have you done? I know you've done stuff with Omar, but have you done like OmniDog, any of his streams?
No, I've never.
OmniDog. They're just fun.
OmniDog is I've seen. I mean, obviously, like I was watching these guys before I made content. Day, BJ Kicks at Comics Are Dope.
Yeah.
Omar, OmniDog, Mad Dog from the UK. He's another. I don't know if you've ever seen his stuff.
I don't know if I've ever seen Mad Dog.
Yeah, he kind of pivoted and now he kind of does like video essays, kind of like what I do on YouTube. But before he was like an omnibus guy. He was another guy that I loved watching early on and stuff like that. But yeah, the Omni community, dude, it's just a bunch of really great guys.
Chris says I can put you on to Superman, David.
No, I don't think you could. I don't know if he's interesting enough to be. So you know how you could put me on to Superman? You know the closest I got to being into Superman is when Spider-Man had the Enigma Force and he was able to fly around and stuff. That's a better Superman than No, I'm just joking.
Joshua Williamson is one of my favorite writers, and his run on Superman right now is so good, man. All
jokes aside, so Chris L, that's actually one of my buddies. He's one of my co-hosts on whatchamacallit. Also, I saw that comment. Shout out to that person. I didn't know that. I'm gonna get volume 2 now. So should I not spend $150, guys, on Amazon to get Dawn of X2?
It's the restock's coming.
Guys, is it going to be a good size restock though?
Yeah, I think. Well, at least it'll be a restock to where you could pre-order it.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean it'll be a restock. There'll be a new FOC for the restock and all this stuff coming. You'll be able to order a pre-order.
All right.
It is going to be coming.
Slasher, I'm taking your advice, Slasher. But if I can't get my hands on Dawn of X Volume 2, then Ray has to send me his copy.
I will send you. Yeah. I would. You know what? I did end up getting 2 copies of that, and then I returned one.
Did you of Dawn of X?
Yeah, Dawn of X 2. I somehow ended up with 2 copies, but because I wanted to make sure I got one.
Oh, that's smart.
So I pre-ordered one on Amazon just to make sure, and so I ordered one from where I got one. From Crooks and Bandits that showed up, and then the Amazon one also showed up, and I'm like, oh crap, what am I going to do with this? So I returned the Amazon one, got my full refund back.
That's smart.
But at one point I did have 2 of them. But yeah, Dawn of X is getting a restock, just like the original one got the restock too.
That is true, huh? I'm just a little impatient, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. So, and like I said, that's the biggest advice, right? Is be patient.
Yep, you're right. That's what you say. By the way,
Chewy.
Mount Rushmore of Batman writers. Thank you, Chewy. Chewy, hello. Thank you for re-upping for 2 months, buddy. Mount Rushmore of Batman writers from each of you. Well, mine's easy. James Tynion. James Tynion is fantastic. I think he's great. Mm-hmm. Love James Tynion. Love Scott Snyder. Greg Rucka, Ed Brubaker. Come on. Those guys are
really
great.
For Batman?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. And then you need one more.
Well, all right. I did Tynion, Snyder.
Oh, you said Snyder. I didn't hear that.
Yeah. Tynion, Snyder, Rucka, Brubaker. Well, there's 4 right there. Oh, I'll consider Rucka and Brubaker as 1.
No, those. Oh, okay. You know what? I'll give you that. So yeah, give me another one. And replace Snyder. Get Snyder out of there.
You don't like Scott Snyder?
No, I don't.
I
don't like his New 52 stuff. I didn't like Batman New 52.
You know what? I think Mariko Tamaki's detective detective run is freaking fantastic.
You're putting her on the Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, you know what? I don't care what her gender is. She's a great Batman writer.
Well, that's not what I said. I didn't say it was.
Maki on there. I'm not anti-woman like Omnibus God.
This is a real. Whoa!
Anti-woman like Omnibus God. I'm putting her right on my Mount Rushmore.
Oh no!
You who's gonna get mad, buddy? I'm gonna let you have it.
Oh man, that was a good one.
Give me your Mount Rushmore. I'm sure you're gonna have Grant Morrison on yours, but
No, not for Batman. No,
All
not
right.
for Batman. Let's do Frank Miller. You gotta have Frank Miller. Come on.
No, Frank Miller's absolute Batman and Robin the Boy Wonder. That is the hottest piece of garbage.
Okay, but he wrote Year One, The Dark Knight Returns.
All right, Year One, Dark Knight.
The Dark
Returns.
Knight. Ray, are you serious?
I'm serious. That's just my opinion. My opinion.
Of Dark, the first one. I'm talking about the first one.
Yes, garbage.
You think it's garbage?
Yeah, I'm not a Frank Miller fan.
Really?
I like the Daredevil run and I like Year One, but
no,
when it comes to Miller, that's it.
Wow, Ray. I'm putting Miller on there.
All right.
Give me Jim Starlin.
Oh, Starlin. Oh, yeah.
Starlin is Batman the Cult is my favorite Batman comic of all time. But
by the way, Death in the Family DC Finest is fantastic.
Yeah. Starlin on Batman needs to get brought up more. He just does such a good job with that character. So give me Jim Starlin on there. Put him on there. You know what? I think if I put my biases aside, I think for how impactful he is, I think you do have to put Snyder on there because I think Snyder.
Does Denny O'Neil deserve to be on there?
I haven't read enough to be able to say that, but I would put him on there just on the fact of like his impact for the character. I have read some of the Bronze Age stuff. I read a lot of Brave and the Bold Bronze Age, which was a lot of stuff written by Denny O'Neil. But I mean, him and Neil Adams. I mean, those two were the driving factor for bringing Batman back to that kind of pulp and like just more serious tone. And like they ushered us into the Bronze Age of comics, which is arguably one of the best.
Have you read this, by the way?
I haven't. I think I'm gonna read it digitally pretty soon,
dude,
and hope that they make a deluxe or something.
OG, let me tell you something.
Yeah,
Dan Waters. Batman Dark Patterns. I'm not even a fan of Hayden Sherman. This book made me.
Isn't Hayden Sherman the Wonder Woman artist?
Yes.
Absolute Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Wow. I definitely got to check that out.
This book made me a fan. I'm telling you, this Batman Dark Patterns is so shockingly great. It's really amazing. I'm a big fan.
I'll have to.
Now, I'm not saying you need to go on Mount Rushmore, but it is really good. Very good. But then again, I put Mariko Tamaki on there. What do I know?
You're a feminist. That's you know.
I am. I love women.
Yeah, and apparently I hate them.
I'm not anti-woman like some people.
Yeah, my bad. No, that was a good one. Shout out Chewy Queso too. He's a good guy.
Chewy Queso's great.
Yeah, but yeah, I need to read Dark Patterns.
You'll love it, man.
I feel like that's one of those books where it's like, it kind of feels like a book that's like gonna be talked about in the future as like a classic almost. Just so many people talk about it and sing its praise. So
it is a very. It was very. Cody Collects is the one who was telling me. He was telling me about it for months.
Yeah,
when it was coming out in single issues. And when it finally came out in paperback and I got it and I read it, I'm like, holy crap, he is 100% right. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Dark Patterns is one of those books that I read it in one night. I couldn't put it down. It was so good.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Mark Waid's Batman and Robin Year One was also very good.
That's another one I need to check out.
No, you'll like it. It's very good.
And I want to check out Batman Dark Age. Have you read that by Michael Allred?
No, I don't. No, I've never heard of it actually.
I don't know if he wrote it, but it's him on artwork, and oh my god, I love Michael Allred. If you know him,
I do.
But yeah, he did that. I think. Let me see.
I'll give you a little on Batman book that's amazing.
Oh no, it was Mark Russell. Mark Russell's the writer, but then Michael Allred did the artwork.
James Robinson wrote a story called Face to Face. It was the first big Batman story after Infinite Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
It is such an amazing story. I highly recommend it. It's not in an omnibus. It needs to be. Face to Face is an incredible Batman story. It is great.
Who's it by? Or not who's it by? Who's in it? Is it a Two-Face story?
It is. it is. It's a story. It's a story about. I don't want to give the spoiler, but it's a story about the relationship between Bruce and Tim Drake.
Oh, okay.
And it's very good. It's also the ventriloquist is the big.
He's a bad guy.
Ventriloquist is the big, and Scarface are the big villains in it. But there's a lot more. It's also got Two-Face. There's a lot of things going on. But in all of this, there's a murder coming. There's murders happen. There's a murder that happened. They're trying to figure out who did it. But the undercurrent is the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Tim Drake. And you're reading the whole book thinking it's about one thing. You're concentrating on they've got to solve this, and they got to solve that, and you're caught up in it. But the end of the book shows you what you really should have been paying attention to. And I think it is an amazing Batman story. It's called Face to Face. It's great.
You know what I recently read I made a video that came out today. Everybody go check it out after the stream. I made a video talking about Mark Bagley on Batman, and he worked on this story arc by Judd Winnick, who wrote Under the Red Hood. It's called Long Shadows. It was like the Reborn era. Have you read that? I read that for the first time like last week for the video.
Yeah, it's great. It's right here.
You know, I will say this. That is where trade paperbacks are neat. Or I think it's cool like when people have those trades of just like random arcs. But the collector in me is like, it's got to come out in deluxe or
Mark Bagley drawing Nightwing. Oh my!
That's Ed Bean. Is
that Ed Bennis?
Ed Ben. Yeah, Bagley draws the next issue.
All right, hold on. Let me fast.
Yeah, you'll see. You can tell right there. You're on a page right now. You can see. Look at that. Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yep, look at that.
And DC, you know, they only let him draw 4 issues of Batman. It's crazy. Wow. Bagley should have had a whole run on Batman. I promise you, it would have been amazing.
I thought he'd have. I figured Marvel had into some kind of exclusive.
No, in 2008, I mean, wow. He signed a 3-year contract with DC.
Yeah,
yeah. Look at that.
There you go. Yeah. That's Mark Bagley right there. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, he signed a 3-year contract in 2008, and he hated his time at DC.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Again, guys, go check out the video after this, but it's a really interesting story. But he did amazing work there with Batman and a bunch of other characters. So,
yeah, this is from the Batman Reborn era. But man, Long Shadows is great. I love Judd Winnick.
I loved that. It was good because it was Dick Grayson becoming Batman for the first time, and he's like accepting it, and he's but it's cool because he's doing this whole thing where he's like, I'm gonna do it my way though. And it's kind of like getting the reader ready for like this different version of Batman. But it also shows you like the problems of what Dick being his own Batman could be. Because there's like moments in there where it's like, he's like talking about how the cape is too long and that the suit is too heavy and like he needs it lighter because he's more used to, he's an acrobat. So
he's more acrobatic than Bruce is.
Exactly. So he wants it to be lighter. And it kind of comes back to bite him. I won't spoil how, but it kind of comes back to bite him in the butt. And it's just so well written. I love it's fun, it's action packed, it's meaningful, and it's like really great like character progression for Dick Grayson, especially as Batman.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
I just I could talk comics all day. I could talk comics all day, man. I think it's my favorite thing in the world is to just sit and just BS comics.
Yeah, it's nice when you can. I was thinking about this, the last. I kind of told you a little bit off stream, but like I went. We recently had to like figure out what we were going to do. We didn't know if we were going to stay where we're living at now, and I kind of I acted too quickly, and so I started moving my collection. and I recently, everything worked out. It's like, okay, whatever, we're gonna stay here. But I moved my collection preemptively because
You had everything ready to move, and then you decided not to move.
because if you're an Omni collector and you've ever moved, you know my pain. Mm-hmm. I've had to move twice with an Omni collection, and technically I did it 3 times. I already moved the stuff over. Like the stuff was ready to go to where we were going to be at. And then we were like, wait, no, we can make this work. We don't have to move. So I had to bring all that stuff back. And it was such a pain. But all that to say, it was nice because when I set up all my stuff and my library was back, right? I had all my books up. Kind of like you were talking about, Ray, where it's like you kind of look at it and you're like, oh, look at this. Like I worked for this.
Yeah.
And then to be able to like grab an Omni and then just start reading it, it's just like it's just so calming and you get wrapped up.
It feels good to go into your room, your comic room, and just look around and go, oh my God, look what I've accumulated. It makes me happy, brings me joy. I can go in here at any point and just take a breath and just really just absorb it all. It makes me, these comics bring me such joy, man. It's really amazing.
It's amazing stuff. What are you reading right now, Ray?
I just got done. I got stuck in an X-Men hole. I read Uncanny X-Men by Kieran Gillen, right?
Oh, should I get that Omni?
Oh my God, I loved it.
I've been hearing.
I know Messiah Trilogy's coming out, right? And I'm really excited to read Messiah Trilogy. So after that is the Kieran Gillen run. So I got the Kieran Gillen run. Well, the Kieran Gillen run happens, and then we get Schism,
mm-hmm.
and then we get Avengers versus X-Men. So I read Kieran Gillen, then I read Wolverine Goes to Hell, which includes Schism in it, and then I read the Avengers versus X-Men omnibus because that's in it, and then I had to read Wolverine and the X-Men because that happens after Schism. So and then I just had to read Brian Michael Bendis' Uncanny X-Men. And I've already read All New X-Men by Brian Michael Bendis, which, by the way, is one of my favorite. I love that omnibus. I love All New X-Men.
I've heard pretty mixed stuff about that run.
I loved it.
I have them though, so I'm going to read it.
I was not as big a fan as of Uncanny X-Men by Bendis, but I loved All New X-Men. So I've been stuck in that hole. And then last night I finally finished the Uncanny X-Men, and I was like, you know what? I opened up, I went and grabbed Tynion Batman again, right? Which I've read several times because their Dark Design is one of my favorite stories of all. So I started reading it again. Now I'm stuck in another hole of reading things I've already read before, which means I'll read Tynion Batman. I'll end up reading Jeff Johns' Justice League. I'll probably end up reading John's Green Lanterns again. Once I get stuck in this hole, it's hard to get out of. But there are so many new books that I want to read. And there are so many books I haven't read in this collection.
Yeah.
That I want to get to. So I do hate when I get in that, I've got to read something I've already read before. But I do get in those ruts quite often.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that one. I'm reading some Spider-Man right now. I'm really enjoying that. What is it? Interesting. Most people prefer what do you say?
He said most people prefer Uncanny X-Men over All New, myself included.
I need to read that stuff soon.
I loved All New X-Men so much more than I thought I would. I thought it was fantastic. And I'm a big Bendis fan. I think what happened with Uncanny X-Men is because it was Bendis, I was expecting so much more than what I got. And I also loved All New X-Men so much that I was expecting Uncanny X-Men to just blow me away. And it was good, but it didn't blow me away. So I think I held it against Bendis for some reason, which I wish I didn't, but that's just how I am.
Yeah.
But I loved All New X-Men so much more than Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah.
I wanted Bendis I don't know. I wanted him to find a way to keep the new X-Men in our current times. I mean, I knew he had to send them back or else it wouldn't work, but
Right.
you know, but I was also thinking last night, I was like, what, and I don't know what they did. I don't know what happens. I haven't read Krakoa yet. So, but I loved All New X-Men. I loved the Jean Grey. I love Jean Grey and All New X-Men. So we know in the future that Jean Grey will die and come, she becomes a phoenix and she dies and blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking, couldn't they go back in time and when she dies, couldn't they grab her and bring her into current times? And I don't know. I was sort of playing.
You were theorizing.
Yeah, I was theorizing in my own mind, like, what would I do? And I'm surprised they haven't done that. I don't know if maybe they have, but I'm surprised they haven't done that.
Yeah.
But oh well. I think that would be a very interesting twist.
Yeah.
Mainline says, "What's up, guys? I just wanted to share that my Thunderbolts Dark Reign omnibus just came in. I'm so excited to read it. Did you get the standard or direct market cover? Because I chose the standard cover.
Which one was that one?
The standard cover is the white one.
Is it Ramita?
It is. I don't know who does. I don't know who does it. It's. I'm trying to see if I have it. I think I deleted it, but I had it. I am not seeing it. Or I'd show it to you. Yeah, but the direct market covers really interesting, and everybody's getting the direct market. But I actually liked. I liked the standard, so that's the one I got. Gotcha. So I'm just asking because I want to know, what he got.
Yeah, I need to get that on me. I honestly forgot that was coming out. I hope it's still. I saw that it was out from in stocks. I don't know.
Logan says a lot of people's problem with All New. The kids were here too long. Yeah, I really liked All New X-Men. I really liked it a lot. And I was not a fan of Uncanny. I thought I would be a fan of Uncanny X-Men a lot more.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I read first? All New or Uncanny by Bendis?
Don't they happen at the same time?
Yeah, they happen they happen concurrently. All that stuff happens concurrently. All New X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and Wolverine and the X-Men are all happening at the same time.
That's crazy. That's a lot of X-Men at the same time.
So I read all three omnibuses, and it all makes sense. But the Bendis stuff, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'd have read Uncanny X-Men first. Maybe I would have had a different opinion. But my ranking of All New X-Men was number 1 there. Wolverine the X-Men was number 2. I thought that was great. And then I'd go Uncanny X-Men by Bendis was number 3. That's how I ranked them. But read them. Maybe it'll change your mind which one you read first. Maybe that's the one you like the most.
Yeah. I'll have to check that out at some point. I need to get into X-Men. I took a break on X-Men a couple years ago, and I'm so behind.
Well, I'm ready to read the Messiah trilogy because that's the stuff that happened before all of this. Because there was Whedon's Astonishing X-Men, then there was House of M, Decimation, and then the Kieran Gillen run started. I think right after that. I think that's how it went. I'm trying to remember chronologically how it happened. But then again, Astonishing X-Men I think took so long to come out. I'm not sure where it fell and all those things, but
Yeah.
But I know the Messiah trilogy happened. Messiah trilogy happened right after House of M, right? It was House of M and then the Messiah trilogy. So I'm just trying to
bridge that gap.
Yeah. So next I'm reading the Messiah trilogy, and then that will have led into what I just read. But it was, I really enjoyed reading the X-Men. But man, when you fall down that hole, you could end up just reading X-Men nonstop.
Yeah, it's a lot of comics.
and it's hard. It's hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
I try to move around and read stuff, and it's hard when you have so much, you know, when you're like, oh, I got to read this now. Oh, I got to read this. Like, for example, I can't just read Green Lantern Volume 1 by Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
Because when I finish it, I have to read Green Lantern Volume 2 by Jeff Johns. And then when I finish that, I have to read Green Lantern Volume 3 by Jeff Johns.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's very hard.
Yeah, there's certain books where you just kind of have to read the whole thing.
Yes. And then you're mad at yourself. You go, oh my God, I'm really enjoying this, but I'm so mad because I should be reading blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I feel you on that.
Well, listen, I've really enjoyed this. I've had fun, man. I hope you've had fun too.
No, this was great. Yeah, I'd love to stay longer, but I really have to use the bathroom, and also,
listen. You told me you said I only had you for an hour and a half, so I'm glad you stayed longer.
Yeah,
that means the world to me. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the missus. She said she was gonna go out for a little bit, so I was like, oh, okay, I could stay on a little longer then. But I think she's on her way home, and I've got to use the bathroom. But this was great. I'd love to come back anytime, Ray.
Oh, it's great. I'd love to have you back.
That, or I'm going to start inviting myself.
It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, we can always chat about comics, and we can definitely have you on probably, and just chat over on my channel too. Whatever we want to do, anytime.
Send me. Let me know. Anytime, man. You know I love y'all anytime. And you've got my actual. We've got each other's phone number. I know we never text, but we can. You can. Don't feel like you're ever bothering me.
Yeah,
I'm horrible. I'm horrible at responding because I'm 50. But but feel free when you've got the number. So, and I really appreciate you being on, David. Omnibus God. I really appreciate it, buddy. I had a lot of fun, and I think our audience really enjoyed you being on too.
Yeah, I hope so. You guys had some great.
Logan, thank you, buddy. I love it.
I'd love to come back, and like I said, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just start inviting myself. All right.
Well, I will definitely. I do these. Listen, I do broadcast Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm doing live streams every single night. I would love to have you on.
Yeah.
Decent says, love you, man. Look at that.
Love you, Decent. That's another one of my co-hosts from the podcast. Shout out to Decent.
Awesome. It was great, buddy. I appreciate it. Listen, I thank you so much, David. Omnibus God, you were great. Check out Omnibus God on YouTube. Check him out on TikTok. You guys, his content it's just great. His content is so good. I'm such a fan of his. He is one of the reasons that I do this.
Thank you, Ray.
And he's been nothing but a big supporter. You're the best, man. I really appreciate you being on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, everybody, for watching and commenting and all that stuff. I hope to be here soon again.
We'll have you back on. Thanks, buddy.
Adios.
There you go, guys. Wasn't he great? This is why I wanted to have him on as a guest. He's so great. Awesome. That was a lot of fun. All right, let's see. I want to get somebody in the Rice Krispies Cup of Death for the giveaway, because I'm almost out of time. And I haven't put anybody in yet. So let me return my books, and then we'll get somebody in. All right. And if you guys got a question, I can answer a question. But first, let's get somebody in. Now, remember, guys, we are giving away Spectacular Spider-Man, the J.M. DeMatteis Spider-Man Omnibus. We are giving it away this weekend. Saturday night is when we do the elimination drawing for this. All right? It's happening Saturday night. So let's get somebody put in the elimination bowl. Let's get somebody in now. All right. First, we're going to put a member. Let's get members in first. All right. Oh. I want to do like 4. Let's do 4. All right. 3. All right. Here we go, guys. Here's the guys getting in. All right. Piano Wizard. Piano Wizard getting in, man. Way to go, brother. Also getting in, Saran. Saran. Oh, crap. All right. Let me get a Piano Wizard. I got PW is in again. PW's got to be in. What do you guys think? PW's got to be in like 4 times. He seems to be in there a lot. Piano Wizard got Saran. Chip Crisper. Chip Crisper. All right, let me get Chip Crisper in. Hold on, I got to fill out these tickets for the guys. Hold on. And then we'll do randos, Todd. We'll do randos in a second. And then I got another guy who I'm pretty sure is no longer a member. So I have to, let me double check and then I'll remove him. So, Chip Crisper. PW. And Saran. All right. All right. By the way, Aaron Genie says, I think that's Chip's 3rd. I know it's at least his 2nd. Yeah, Chip Crisper. I think he went. I think he's already. I think this might be his 3rd. I don't know how many times. I think PW's in at least 4 times. All right, let me check. Let me check members really quick. I want to make sure that this person is before I put them in. Let me check my. Let me check. Yeah, sorry. Nope. That person is going in the trash. They are no longer a member. I thought so. All right. And then the last one is Toddy. Toddy 2. Toddy 2, you're going in, brother. Toddy 2 is going in. All right. I got to check that person because I think that person's got another ticket in. I'm going to have to remove him. I'm trying to play it fair. You know what I mean? I don't want to give an unfair advantage to somebody. You know what I mean? When they're not a member. Trying to be fair. All right. Toddy, you're going in. All right, Tom, let's do a rando. Let's do a rando. Then you guys, I got to get back to organizing this room. Alibaba, you are the best, brother. By the way, Thunder Flash just became a member for 3 more months. Thanks, buddy. He says my new library. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Thunder. Appreciate it, pal. Hey, Thunder, tomorrow By the way, tomorrow's show, I'm putting up on Patreon tonight, guys. As soon as the show's over, I'm putting up on Patreon one of those things where you guys, I'm doing all new graphics for it, so I'm a little behind, but I'm trying to put up a thing where all you guys comment on it, and we'll do a drawing. We'll do a drawing to get someone put in the bowl tomorrow. Also tomorrow, I'm going to start the show. It's my first time. It's my first time doing this. We're going to have a subject to start the show tomorrow. I'm going to, no, Ray, no, Omnibus God can speak about whatever he speaks about. I'm not angry at him at all about the Legion. No. I'm going to talk about the thing that DC Comics is doing that I do not like. They're actually doing something wrong, in my opinion, and I will discuss it to start tomorrow's show. So I'm going to start. It was brought to my attention yesterday, and this is the easiest thing for me to do, is because I've been a talk show host for 30 some odd years. So the easiest thing for me in the world is to come up with a topic and just run with it. So tomorrow's show is starting with the topic, what's the one thing that DC Comics is doing wrong? That's what we'll be starting with tomorrow. And trust me, I think most of you guys are going to agree with me. I'm pretty sure you're all going to agree with me. All right? Tom, let's do a rando. Let's do a rando. Above 25, below 100. I want you to count and then let me know when I have to pick someone. 3, 2, 1. Start counting, Tom. Here we go, guys. We're eventually going to randomly pick someone. We'll randomly pick someone. We'll pick the person below and beneath them as well. And they will all get put into the Rice Krispies vat, the Rice Krispies cup of death. And that's where we're going to draw from. That's where we will draw the elimination ballot from, okay? All right? It's all coming. I wish everybody luck. I'm just waiting for Tom to text, guys. Am I all the way down? Oh. From atop the ChubbyRay. From atop, this is a long one. God damn it, Tom. From atop the ChubbyRay Comics trash can fam transmission spire, where chrome ribs claw at the night sky. And you can tell Tom's been writing this all day. And chrome ribs claw at the night sky and spotlight beams slice the darkness like judgmental angels. We bring you tonight's broadcast. Tonight's rando, tonight's unwilling tribute is not merely being launched into, they're being hoisted into the celestial gears of the Rice Krispies cup of death. Their silhouette flickering across the tower's Art Deco facade like a road frequency trying to escape the airwaves. This poor soul did not get together with Dan and Christina. They're married, you know, just not to each other. Thank you. I'm sure they love that. Now I lost my place. All right. Yet the scandal's gravitational pull has dragged them upward like a misprinted variant sucked into a collector-grade vacuum tube. Meanwhile, Ray, our beloved chaos gremlin, now perched halfway up the tower like a gargoyle with a union card, has taken to the emergency broadcast mic to accuse both Dan and Chrissy of rigging. Hold on, why am I? Of rigging, I lost my place again. His entry. His voice crackles through the tower's copper coils with the fury of a man who has abandoned. I lost my place again. Damn it, Tom. These are too long. Who has absolutely never read a rule book Dan and Chrissy, illuminated by deco spotlights that make everyone look like a suspect, deny everything with the synchronized panic of two noir protagonists caught in the freeze frame moments before the orchestra stings. Receipts fluttered from the tower like incriminating confetti. Someone screamed, "Check the timestamps! Check the timestamps!" with the authority of a detective slamming a chrome-edged dossier into a glowing, fleeting console. The comic giveaway wheel spun with such ferocity. The tower's upper antenna begins picking up transmissions from other timelines and other dimensions. And now, after the accusations, the denials, Ray's 1,440th meltdown, and one brief moment where the tower threatened to broadcast in 4D, tonight's rando is... Bum, bum, bum. Here is the rando. The rando is... I don't want to pick this rando. I don't want to pick this rando, guys. Tonight's rando is Tom Jackson. I did not want to pick this rando because now everyone's going to say it's rigged, right? Everyone's going to accuse me of rigging it. And yet Tom is who's been picked. All right. Above Tom is the phenomenal AC. Phenomenal AC. You're getting in, brother. Beneath Tom is, here's another one. They're going to call it rigged. Beneath Tom is Gracie Patrick. All right. Let me get AC and Gracie in. Totally not rigged, guys. Totally not rigged. Hey, remember Friday, I'm reading all the names. I'm reading all the names in the cup Friday. All right. AC. Gracie Patrick. All right, guys. You're both in. Shut this up. All right. We got a lot of tickets in here, man. We got a lot of tickets. I'll read them all Friday, and then Saturday we will start the show. We will start the show with the elimination. All right. We will start the show with the elimination drawing. Let me read. First, Oni Baba. I have a couple omnis I can donate for you to give. Oni Baba Yaga, thanks, buddy. I would love it. Are you kidding? That'd be great. It'd be a wonderful gift. Thanks, pal. Oni Baba's one of my favorites. He was the first ever. He showed me how super thanks and super chats work, which is really cool. I didn't know how they worked. He was the one who showed me. Let's see here. A lot of rigging. A lot of people are accusing me of rigging. Oh my God, rigged. This is definitely rigged. Yay, rigged for me. I did not rig it for you, Gracie. I swear Tom's going to win it. Dude, I think Tom's in there like five or six times. If Tom wins, Tom says all I'm going to win is a trip to the trash can fam. I hope so. Because if Tom wins, people are going to complain. And there's nothing I can do. If he wins, he wins. If he wins, I'm mailing it to him. By the way, here's some of the names. Marvel Trucker Chris. Russell Dow. El Gazebo. PW. Squints. JC the Comic Geek. Thunder Flash. Tom Jackson. Christopher Landon. Next Tuesday, Rand Xbox by Degrees, South Force, Carl, and Goomba Guy. There you go. Those are just some of the names. Some of the names, man. I love it. I love it. Gracie says he thinks he's in 4 times. AC says he's in 5 times. I think AC and Tom are in the PW. I think you guys are in the most. We'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow we're doing we're going to do an elimination wheel to get somebody in. And also, by the way, Patreon, we're going to do the Wonder Woman. We're going to do the Wonder Woman by George Perez. We're going to do that on Patreon too, I think, guys. All right. We'll do that. By the way, Thunder says I won't be here Friday because I'm seeing Mandalorian movie, although I might be able to pop in at the beginning for a few minutes. Also, dude, that's great. Hit that, Ray, that Robin omnibus is massive. Yeah, it is. It's the Bronze Age. So it's that new kind of paper, and that new paper is thicker and lighter. So it makes all the Bronze Age omnibuses really thick. But it's awesome, guys. It is really nice. By the way, I love my Bronze Age omnibuses. Love them. Do you guys like the new design for the room? Do you guys like this? Is it good? By the way, Slasher says Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1 just got a restock announcement. Dude, that's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. Is that new? Yeah, that Robin Omnibus is new. Love it. By the way, Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1 is coming out in June. Oh, you like the setup? That's awesome, man. That means a lot. So I put this in here. I put this in here. And I think I'm going to put my Batmans on this. I think I'm putting my Batmans on this shelf. But I don't know. I might. Maybe I'll use it for my figures and knickknacks. You know what I mean? Like, I've got my DC light looks pretty good here, right? Don't you think it looks good? My DC light. Maybe my Batman. And the thing is, you could see behind it. You see behind it, you could see the books. So maybe I'll keep this open. Give me any ideas, guys. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So yeah, I think I want to keep it open. So I think I'll put Batgirl up here if she'll stay. I don't know if she's going to stay or not. Maybe I'll put her up here with Nightwing. Because Nightwing and Barbara have to be together, right? Because they're a couple. You know. And I'm just thinking maybe I'll leave it open. But I would love some advice on what to do with this shelf behind me. So I don't know, but I like how open everything is. But I got all my marbles here. Plus I'm getting the extenders for the top. And so I'll have there'll be a row of omnibuses on top of the existing shelves. And then I'm going to put all my DC omnibuses on this side of the room. All right. So that's the plan. I just wanted to get you guys' takes on it. You know what I mean? Definitely put the Batman figure there and a few of your favorite Batman omnibuses on the top shelf. Yeah, I'm thinking I've got some down here too. So That's kind of where I'm going with it. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Uh-oh. I just lost I can't have them falling down. You know what I mean? My figures falling down is a lot to deal with. Yeah. All right, guys. So I got to finish up this room because I think my video tonight, I think I'm going to do a video of me taking a video of the room. So tomorrow's video will be, here's what my new omnibus room looks like. You know what I mean? So everybody can see it. That's what I'm thinking. That is what I'm thinking. Because I want to get this work done. By the way, AC says he has his G.I. Joe compendium and like 20 G.I. Joe classified figures on top of his shelf. That's awesome. That Flash and Green Lantern shelf is nuts. Yeah, dude, I love that shelf. Yeah, so I'm thinking of I want this room really looking good. The setup's really dope, Ray. I love how you of all people somehow still have shelf space too. Yeah, I won't, because you can't see, but on the floor, there's a ton of books on the floor that have got to be put up. So, but no, I love the way it's I love the way it's looking, and I'm saving space. I'm saving space for the books that are coming out. And if you look behind me, you'll notice I have gaps. I have gaps for books that are coming out. For example, you'll see there's a gap in the Hulks. There's a gap in the Hulk for the Monster Omnibus that's coming out. There's 2 gaps in Daredevil for Daredevil Volume 4, which is coming out, and Nascenti Volume 2. I've got 2 gaps for that. There's a gap here with Spider-Man for Spider-Man Volume 7, which will go right in there. And then there's, if you see, but you can't see my X-Men, but my X-Men have gaps in them too, because there's new X-Men books that are coming out. So that's, I'm saving the gaps for them. And I have the Thunderbolts gap. My Thunderbolts gap is, it's in here. And it's set for the Thunderbolts Dark Reign that's coming out. So I've been saving room for the new omnibuses too. That's what I'm thinking, guys. That's what I'm thinking. I want it to look good. I want my room to be impressive when people come over and watch the channel, if they see something really cool. Anyway, I want to thank all you guys for coming over tonight. It was fun. I want to thank again Omnibus God. He was a fantastic guest. And I just got to get to work putting the rest of this room together. So thanks for hanging out with me tonight, guys. I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's broadcast is going to start with the one thing that DC is doing wrong. We will start that tomorrow. The one thing DC Comics is doing wrong. That will be starting the show tomorrow. We'll follow it up with a Patreon entry. Then questions, and I've got regular giveaways. No show Thursday. Friday's show is going to contain me reading everybody that's entered. And then Saturday is the giveaway of Spectacular Spider-Man, JMD Mateus. Now, that will lead to Monday, when we will start giving away Detective Comics by Peter Tomasi. This is awesome. Cannot wait to give this book away. And Onibaba was in her. Onibaba said, and you guys saw it, which is very cool. Onibaba said he wants to donate. He has a couple of Omnis that he's going to donate for me to give away. How awesome is that, man? That is awesome. So I will give away some Omnis from Onibaba. Are you kidding? I get to give stuff away that I didn't have to pay for? Oh my God, that's miraculous. Speaking of things that I'm not giving away are things that I'm trying to sell. I have books listed on the Discord. Go to the Chubby Ray Comics Discord and put bids on the books that I have up there. I'm selling a Legion book. I'm selling a Spider-Man Venom and Maximum Carnage paperbacks on there. I'm selling the Fall of Mutants omnibus. I'm selling a new Teen Titans omnibus. I'm selling a bunch of stuff on there. So go check it out and put an offer up, because I'd rather sell them to you guys than put them on eBay. I'm not a big eBay seller, because eBay is such a pain in the ass. So please go ahead and make some offers if you want those books. All right. And then we'll get back to things tomorrow. So come on by tomorrow and join me at 5 p.m. Central Time. Thanks for joining tonight. Thanks again to Omnibus God. I thought he was fantastic. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So long, everybody.